So what study are you going to start on Monday?
So tomorrow, 16th of August, 2021, we're going to start a study on the book of Isaiah. Isaiah is one of my favorite books. I kind of look at his writings kind of like he's the Paul in the Old Testament, just the way that he writes and the things that he talks about and the way that he does it. And so we're going to dive in and hopefully help to illustrate and outline how to study Isaiah. Isaiah is not one of those books that's really beginner friendly because there's a lot of ups and downs, and Isaiah does a lot of things where he'll talk about things for the immediate people in his time, and then he'll reference things for future events, and he'll provide prophecy. And so it's a little bit all over the place. And we're going to outline how Isaiah is different than most of the other books in Scripture. You know, it's more similar to what you would see in Proverbs or in Psalms, where it's a collection of scrolls that contain writings from Isaiah, and it's not necessarily written out like a letter like you would see Paul writing to the Galatians or to the church in Corinth. And so you have to approach it a little bit differently. But one of the things that I think we'll probably end up focusing on the most as we work through Isaiah is not just the prophecy and not just some of the things going on during his time, but the kingdom. Isaiah is one of the best resources when it comes to the future kingdom that Christ is going to rule over in the upcoming years, and it's going to paint a picture of what's going to happen for the Hebrews, what's going to be happening for people worldwide, what they can expect, physical blessings and physical things that are going to happen. And you know, whenever I have discussions with people about whether or not the kingdom has already started, right, or it's already happened, or it's been spiritualized, you look at Isaiah alone, and he gives us a long list of things that have to physically happen to the land, to the people, to the earth, to the curses being lifted. And that's one way we can flesh out a lot of the bad ideas that are floating out around there about what the kingdom is and what it isn't. One of the other things to point out, and then we'll look at this as well, is Isaiah is one of the, if not the most quoted Old Testament author in the New Testament between Jesus and the apostles and the writings that we see in the letters. And it's because he has such a wide scope that he covers, from prophecy to the immaterial, to the kingdom, to the people, to Israel, to their future judgment, to the nations, right? The nations surrounding and persecuting Israel, there's judgments to them, to talking about things that we're going to be doing in the kingdom in reference to Satan being bound. I mean, there's kind of a long list of things. So we joke about it, but with the way that our Bible studies go, we'll be in there for at least a year. So feel free to join us. Be a Berean, and we're gonna look at what God showed to Isaiah and how that can help build our faith in the end times.